Admiral Kavo Dragon met with Ukrainian political and military leaders. He is a chair of the NATO military committee. Kavo Dragon visited Ukraine. He met with our main chief of our forces, Alexander Syrsky, also, and talked with our colleagues, with our journalists from Army Inform. As chair of the NATO military committee, he told that his top priority will be ensuring that Ukraine will continue to receive the support it needs to be in the strongest position while maintaining NATO's readiness to deter any threats to allied territory. And Dragon noticed about long-range missiles too, Michael. What do you see in this statement? Will NATO continue its help, and this needing in long-range missiles, will we see it?
Well, first, NATO doesn't have any army or big funds, for example, so NATO couldn't supply to us weapon or money. All the financial aid from the NATO side was, during all the war, was something around, I could be mistaken, but not a lot, something less than $1 billion during all the war. So the help from NATO, it is less than 0.5% of total international aid which Ukraine received. Because NATO, it is just bureaucratic organization, which is not an army. And it is very rare when you see somebody in military uniform, which is who is representative of NATO. So we are just organizers, we are just work as advocacy of helping Ukraine. And this is very important moment now, this week. And why this guy came to Kiev exactly this week. Not occasionally, it happened. But in 2 days, we will start the Ramstein meeting. Ramstein meeting is a meeting of international military donors to Ukraine. And this Ramstein meeting will be meeting number 26 during the war, but the first of its kind. Because on this time, this is the first time during the war, when the chairman of this meeting is not Defense Minister of United States. During Biden's presidency, Mr. Austin, the Defense Minister of United States, he was a chairman of these meetings, and United States was the leader of these meetings, and United States proclaimed the agenda of these meetings. But after Trump won an election, but before Mr. Biden left his position, in NATO there was an opinion that NATO should be the chairman of this organization, of these meetings of Ramstein. But something went wrong. I don't know what, because it was in the closed door. And last week, we were informed that the chairman of the new meeting will be Great Britain, and it be the defense minister of United Kingdom. So probably NATO will take some position, some special role in this Ramstein meeting. And this is a reason why NATO, High Representative of NATO, came to Kiev to, I believe, to make a list of our wishes to Ramstein meeting.
But new Defense Ministry of the USA, Pete Hegseth, will participate in that Ramstein too. Does this signal that support from the USA will be strong too?
Not exactly. At least they don't leave us, and they don't ready to leave all the military agenda to Europeans and to other partners like Canada, for example, who is also the participant, and Australia. But at this stage, Americans were not ready to send the new packages of weapon. Yeah, they sent weapon right now, but this is the old packages which were stated by President Biden. And we also don't send to Congress any law about military aid to Ukraine. So the new Minister of Defense of United States, He doesn't have any proxies for helping Ukraine. He doesn't have any funds. He doesn't have any at least words from Mr. Trump that he is ready to send weapon to Ukraine. So he will be just somebody who just watch and not participate in this meeting de facto.
Okay, we'll see. But we won't see a zero by supporting from the USA, and it is rather good for us, I think. And we would hope that this level of our supporting will be on maybe not on the same level, yes, but not on the lowest than we expected. So what we expect from Donald Trump communication with Kremlin, sometimes I don't know exactly, because we see a lot of statements, a lot of different messages from Kremlin or from Donald Trump to, for example, 47th president of the USA, Donald Trump, talked to Reuters that the US is making progress in talks to end the war in Ukraine, but we haven't already seen any details from Trump, from press secretary of Putin Peskov to from their foreign ministry, Russian foreign ministry too. But Donald Trump says that, yes, I had some conversation with Putin, but I don't want to tell no details. So, Michael, what progress are we talking about in this case? Does Trump mean talks with Putin really? How many conversations could there have been between Trump and Putin? And do they make any sense by today?
Okay. All the information we received from Trump and from Putin's spokesman is very controversial, first. They controverse themselves, usually, in their claims. From Mr. Putin, for example, we heard just during last months that, for example, that his demand, the first demand towards Ukraine, was just 2 districts, Donetsk district and Luhansk district, and he wanted only these 2 districts to them to join Russia. So now it absolutely controversies all of his previous speeches about 4 districts and about some other claims, like for ban of Ukraine to join NATO and for demand towards Ukraine to reduce the number of military forces, etc., etc., etc. So we don't know what to trust exactly when Mr. Putin speaks, when we believe that it is rather absolute bullshit and not the claims. When Mr. Trump said something, he also sometimes controverses with his previous speeches, but at least he more or less, let's say more or less, we could say what happened, yeah, by his speeches. So it looks like, I just stress that this is just only looks like, this is not facts, that he had the first conversation with Mr. Putin immediately after election, and Washington Post reported about this meeting. And once Mr. Trump also mentioned this conversation, this phone conversation, but afterwards he denied about this conversation. So probably they had this conversation in November, immediately after, not only after election, but after first official call between President-elect Trump and President Zelensky. So afterwards, Trump had a conversation with Putin, but they didn't have any progress, obviously, and it looked like they didn't have any progress. And for the next call, they prepared, somehow prepared. It was prepared by teams, by Mr. Trump team and team of Kit Kellogg and Mr. Putin team. So next call probably was after Trump became to be not president-elect, but real president. And we don't know if they had any conclusions from that, but it looked like not. They just heard, American side just heard the new claims from Russian side. Why I think so? Because after this second call, probably second call, Kit Kellogg said in one of interviews that Ukraine should convinced should convince